Hello everyone, welcome to Mind Blowing Health and Wellness of Violet. Fasting is just not eating, but it surprises me how so many people on the internet are talking about this and talking about this as if it's like this weird thing that's crazy for people to do. My goal is to help people to understand what they're doing, why they're doing what they're doing, get that psychological perspective on their behavior so that they can make better decisions and really reach the goals that they're trying to reach. And when I look at all the information on fasting and all the crazy that's going on about people arguing about it, I thought maybe I should just do a quick video and kind of clarify a few things because I feel like there's a lot of fear that's stopping people from doing what would be healthy for themselves, whether it's fasting or not fasting. First, in order to fast, you need to understand that it's not something that you should take lightly. If you have any medical conditions, situations that says that you shouldn't be fasting, don't fast. You need to be in a healthy position to fast. Now, the majority of people can fast. If you're anorexic, you really shouldn't fast. If you're pregnant or breastfeeding, you really shouldn't fast. If you have a medical reason, a condition that would stop you from being able to fast, you should talk to your doctor and be certain that you're not in a position that fasting would be dangerous. Okay, with that part out of the way, let's look at for the rest of us who are able to fast. Once you realize and determine that you're able to fast, you need to ease into fasting. It's not advisable to go from eating a very carbohydrate-laden way of eating to jump straight into fasting and feel and believe that you're going to do well. Fasting is something that your body needs to adjust to. The first thing that I would say is that if you're watching this video and you are currently on some kind of carbohydrate heavy way of eating, so that means more than 125 grams of carbs or more on a daily basis, you probably are going to have a difficult time fasting. When our body is used to having fewer carbs in it, we do better with not ingesting foods because we're able to allow ourselves to run on the fats that we store. So that's the first thing I'm going to say. You want to ease into fasting because you want to allow your body to understand to take the energy that it needs from you. That's part one. I want to talk about my journey into a multiple day fast, just to help you to understand from my perspective what happened, and also to help you to understand why I'm making certain suggestions that I'm making. Because for the majority of people, it's not going to be as simple as saying, I'm going to fast for 7 days, and then boom, you fast for 7 days. So here's the thing. I began with a ketogenic diet, and I used to eat 2 meals a day on a carbohydrate diet. When I made the switch over to a ketogenic diet, I went back to eating 3 meals a day, because that was the instructions that I was given, and it made sense to me because I wasn't going to be eating carbs. My body would be looking for carbs. So having the most fuel possible in my body to start off the process was advised, and to me that made sense. So that's what I did. So 3 meals a day. And I would say by the third week of eating a ketogenic way of eating, I was able to go back to my 2 meals a day, not because I wanted to lose weight, although that did happen. I did that because I wasn't hungry in the morning. So originally I wasn't eating breakfast on the carbohydrate diet because I didn't have time. I made time on the ketogenic diet because I didn't want to have a negative effect happen to me. And then eventually I was back to 2 meals a day because I wasn't hungry. So the first thing I wanted to show you there is that if you eat a nutrient dense, high quality diet, you will eventually find yourself in the situation where you need less food to get through your day, partially because some of the food is coming from you. So that's the first thing. So now what happened to me is that after the third week, I was back to 2 meals a day. And then, keep going forward, eventually I found myself where my lunch was, instead of being around noonish, which is the typical time that it used to be, anywhere between noon and 2, I was finding myself that between noon and 2, I wasn't hungry yet. But I have flexibility of working for myself. And I have more than one break in my day. So I would just push it back to whatever the next break was. So that might mean waiting 1 hour. It might mean maybe waiting 2 hours. But for the most part, I was pretty confident that I'd be able to wait till the second time that I'd be able to eat. So that's what I did. Eventually, what I did notice is that it was 3 to 4 and then 4 to 5. By the time that by 5 o'clock I wasn't feeling hungry yet, it started to occur to me that it's kind of silly to eat lunch after 5 o'clock and then turn around and try to go home and have supper. Because regardless of the fact that I was trying to lose weight, I still needed to fuel my body enough to be able to get through my days. So I had the intention of eating at least a minimum requirement of nutrients daily coming from an external source. So I wanted to get my micronutrients in. So I wanted to eat my vegetables, etc. So I had this idea in my mind that I needed to eat a certain amount to get through my next day. So eventually what happened is that pushing back my meals led to one meal a day, which is I was fine with. And actually, the interesting thing about one meal a day for me, it might not be the same for you, but for me, it really suited my lifestyle. I'm in my office, oftentimes needing to work on documents and interact with clients, and it was convenient to me to be able to spend most of my time working. So I did. I worked for myself. Okay, great. Then I was doing one meal a day, and I did that for several weeks before I decided to look into doing my first fast. Now, the first fast that I did was just to push the 23 hours that I was already doing, because one meal a day is 23 hours, to push that 23 hours that I was already doing to 48 hours, which is not a big jump to make. If you think about it, I'm already not eating for that day. All it means is that I'm waiting till the next day to eat. So what I did for myself is I allowed myself the possibility that I would go 48 hours. However, I did bring food with me just in case I didn't make it the 48 hours. In my mind thinking, there's a possibility I might be hungry somewhere in around lunchtime or somewhere around the afternoon. Well, in actuality, I made it. So again, what does that tell you? Well, our bodies are equipped. We have the energy, and at that time I had more energy on me than this. I made it the 48 hours. During the time that I did one meal a day, I actually learned something very, very important. And I think that did help me to do the 48 hours. What I learned is that when I was going my 23 hours, at some points during the day, especially it could happen while I was with a client, I might get that signal of, oh, I'm hungry. But because I'm with a client, I wasn't able to just stop and eat right there. So I would obviously wait till my client leaves. And what would happen? My client would leave and I wasn't hungry anymore, like at all. And what I started to realize was that sometimes I was getting signals that I was hungry that weren't real. They were psychological because of the time of day, because maybe in the conversation food came up or something. And so I started to recognize that my body would I started to recognize that my mind would send me indications to eat that were just based on habit, on time, on social convention. And so that really did help me when it was time to do the 48 hour, because in that 48 hour period, I always checked with myself, am I really hungry? So for example, I might wait 5 minutes, or for example, I might drink some water just to verify, are you really hungry? Or is it your mind sending you a signal to eat because that's what you normally would be doing right now? And in the end, like I said, that very first time that I tried a 48 hour, I made it easily. So, of course, you know that I did that for a few weeks. So what I did is once a week, normally from Saturday night till Monday morning, I would do a fast. Till Monday evening, I would do a 48 hour fast. And so I did that for several weeks until week number 15. So by week number 15, I would say that I had gotten very used to doing 48 hour fasts. I had done several of them by that point. I was super comfortable. And as a matter of fact, I had no fears that I wouldn't make it through my Monday and would only bring a coffee with me, no food. So I had a lot of confidence in myself that I could do 48 hour fasts easily. And I still do them till today. At week 15, I decided I'm going to try a 7-day fast. Now, again, I said ease into this. So I am pointing out here that I didn't go from 2 days to 3 days, or 2 days to 5 days, or I went from 2 days to 7 days. My suggestion is don't do that. My suggestion is do 3 days, do 4 days. Again, ease yourself into it. I've done more research since having done 48 and then jumping to 7. And truthfully, I should have taken my time. So learn from my mistake. Don't do the same thing. And I'll tell you what happened, which wasn't, I'm saying learn from my mistake in the sense that I did something that I probably shouldn't have done. I didn't have any negative repercussions. However, this is what happened. I started my fast and I thought to myself, 7 days, which would have brought me, I was doing from Friday evening to Friday evening. That was my plan. And in all fairness, I have to say that the fast went swimmingly. So I didn't have any negative repercussions. Of course, I did have moments where I had like that 5 minute, am I hungry thing happening? But I allowed myself to either go the 5 minutes or to drink water or coffee or tea. Those are the things that I was allowing myself to drink during my fast: water, coffee, tea, black, of course. And what I noticed is that for every single time that I felt the need, like I was hungry, when I allowed myself to just wait and see, I wasn't hungry. So by day 5, because that's when things changed, by day 5, every time I felt hungry, I actually wasn't hungry. I'd drink some water or I'd wait a little bit, distract myself in any kind of way, and boom, it was gone. But on day 5, somewhere around 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, I started to feel hungry and it didn't go away. So on day 5, and the other thing that happened on day 5, I'm sorry, there were a few moments during the day when I was by myself in my office and I was trying to concentrate on working on stuff. I couldn't concentrate on writing. So those were the 2 indications to me that, okay, I've reached the end of my fast. Because my goal for you to understand is that you listen to your body. All that energy, all that focus that I had on the days before, which allowed me to realize I'm functioning totally fine. On day 5, by myself in my office, I couldn't keep on track. When I was with clients, I think that's just because it was interactive, I was able to stay on track. But in my office on my own, trying to just work on something, couldn't do it. And then by 5 o'clock in the evening, starting to feel hungry. It was a fine situation. Like I was happy to end on day 5. So that's the other thing I want to point out. I made myself a goal of 7 days. I made it 5 days, and I was fine with that. This is about being healthy, not about arbitrarily doing something because you set it up that way. I do agree with people that say, and all the doctors that say, if you're forcing yourself to fast, that's a problem. If you need to force yourself to do this, then you're not doing it right. You shouldn't be doing it. Like, it's not about forcing yourself, especially if you're not medically followed to do this. If you're being medically followed and the doctor is pushing you a little bit more, that's between you and the doctor. But if you're just at home, I said just, like if it's like not a good thing, but if you're doing this on your own because you want to improve your cell regeneration process, you want to heal yourself from certain metabolic things. In my case, I was trying to heal a hip injury that I was trying to eliminate, and I did completely eliminate it. I no longer have any hip issues by eliminating the carbohydrates out of my diet and fasting. My hip issues are gone. I also no longer have back issues or knee issues. Things that were frustrating to me. Things that on some level hindered my ability to do the sports that I like to do. So if you are trying to heal something and you don't have any other medical issues that would stop you from doing this, the important thing is to know what you're doing. Now, the best thing you could do is do this in conjunction with working with your doctor. That's obviously the best thing you can do, and I would suggest that for everyone. Learn from my mistake. Don't jump into a 5-day. Take your time. Slowly ramp up. You know, every person on the planet has the ability to look at their health and make decisions that are towards their better health. And by the way, if you think about it, most of the religions of the world encourage us to fast. And I don't think it's just because of religious reasons. I also feel like there was knowledge that they had about how important it is to let your body have a break from eating and to heal itself. I wasn't afraid of damaging my body. I wasn't afraid of being hungry because A, I had fasted before, and B, I informed myself. I took the time to do some research before I started to do anything like this. And I'm encouraging you to do the same. Do your research. When research is about reading up, research is about talking to doctors, but research is also about checking with yourself. Can I go a few hours without eating? Can I go a full day without eating before you go for more than 5 days or 2 days or even, check with yourself. How do I feel while I'm fasting? So take the time to make sure that you're doing what's going to be good for you to heal your body and treat any metabolic issues that you might have. For me, it is about doing simple metabolic cleanup. I used to do cleanses. And so if anybody's done a cleanse before, you know that you take some chemicals. They're supposed to be natural. We hope that they are. But you take some pills, and then your body flushes a lot of toxins and etc. And what I find interesting is how by not eating, I'm able to accomplish very similar results. And it's interesting to me, and people ask, I see them asking on YouTube videos, yeah, but if you're not eating, are you going to eliminate? And the truth is you do. So interestingly enough, even though you're not eating, your body continues to eliminate. So that tells you that the cleanup is happening, right? Because if the cleanup wasn't happening, you wouldn't go to the bathroom, right? You just hold on to everything. So your body knows how to do its own cleanse. And if you allow yourself to do a cleanse in a natural way by not eating, your body turns on autophagy and it starts to recycle and clean up and put your body back into a state that's better functioning. That's the whole point. I will do another fast. My intention is to do 2 long fasts per year because I just feel like it's healthy. I'm not exactly sure how long my next fast will be. As I said, this first one that I did was 5 days, although I was aiming at 7. I might aim at 7 again and see if I make it to the 7. I do know that I will take the precautions to make sure that I prepare myself well for the fast. And if you want to know more about how I prepare myself for a fast and how I break a fast, you can leave me a comment and I will definitely talk about that. But at this point in time, I think it's really encouraging to know that we can help our bodies to recycle and refresh ourselves and feel good and healthy. And so I hope this video was helpful for you. I really want to make sure I help people to understand why we're doing what we're doing, because when you understand why you're doing what you're doing, it helps you to be consistent. It helps you to psychologically check in on yourself and make sure that you're okay before you take steps towards doing something, and making sure that your health is the priority. Whether it's your physical health or your mental health, it's the priority. I want to thank you for watching Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet. I'll talk to you in the next video.